Have you ever truly paused to consider why some older folks with a quiet but unshakable resolve refuse to entertain the idea of a nursing home? It's a scene that plays out in countless families across America, often misunderstood as simple stubbornness or a fear of the unknown. At 84 years of age, I can assure you that decision is anything but simple. It is not made lightly in the twilight of an evening. It is a conclusion forged over decades of living, hammered into shape on the anvil of experience, and polished by the hard-won wisdom that only time can bestow. It comes from knowing with absolute clarity what truly matters when the horizon of your life begins to glow with the colors of sunset. For many, the term nursing home or assisted living facility conjures images of safety, structure, and round-the-clock care, a logical solution to the challenges of aging. It is presented as a responsible choice, a final chapter in a comfortable setting. But for others, for people like me, that same term feels like a final surrender. It whispers of the end of freedom, the erosion of choice, and the quiet chipping away of personal dignity. This is precisely why I have drawn a line in the sand of my own life. I have made up my mind with a conviction that has settled deep into my bones. I will never go into a nursing home. Today, I want to invite you into my world and share the 5 foundational reasons behind this unwavering choice. This isn't just my story. As I speak, you will likely hear the echoes of conversations you've had with your own parents or grandparents. You will recognize truths that many seniors carry silently in their hearts, often unspoken for fear of being a burden. Each reason I will share with you tells a story about why staying out of a nursing home is about so much more than avoiding a particular building. It is about a fierce, profound act of protecting the very spirit of who we are, of guarding the essence of a life meticulously built over 8 decades. I encourage you to stay with me until the very end, because the final reason I will share is one that might just surprise you. It is a truth that many seniors rarely discuss openly, but once you hear it, it may fundamentally change the way you think about aging, independence, and the definition of a life well lived. Now, let's begin this journey together. The first, and perhaps most fiercely guarded reason I will never set foot in a nursing home is the profound fear of losing my personal privacy. At 84, I have come to value my own space, my own silence, with a reverence that a younger person might struggle to comprehend. Privacy, you see, is not merely about closing a door or having a room to oneself. It is a far deeper concept. It is the feeling of ownership over your own life, the unassailable freedom to be your authentic self without the weight of constant oversight or the hum of scheduled intrusions. It is the right to have a thought that is not interrupted, a memory that is not explained, and a tear that is not questioned. In the structured environment of most nursing homes, life operates on a timetable that is not your own. There are scheduled check-ins, medication rounds, and the ever-present, well-meaning presence of staff moving in and out of your personal sphere. While this system is designed for safety and efficiency, and for some it brings a measure of comfort, to me, it feels like the walls are slowly, inexorably closing in. My personal freedom, the quiet autonomy I've cherished my entire adult life, would be replaced by a regimen. Privacy is the soil in which dignity grows. The simple ability to decide when you desire company and when you crave solitude is not a luxury. It is essential to the feeling of being a complete, sovereign human being. This fundamental right is often one of the first casualties of institutional living. The compromise can begin with something as simple as a shared room, where another person's habits, noises, and visitors become the soundtrack to your life. It continues with staff members who, due to the demands of their job, may enter your room with only a perfunctory knock, catching you in moments of vulnerability. The very structure of the system is built on the premise that your life is to be monitored for your own good. For someone who has managed a household, raised a family, and navigated the complexities of life for more than 80 years, the idea of losing that fundamental freedom to retreat, to reflect, or to simply rest on my own terms feels like an unbearable amputation of the soul. Think about a woman I knew, Eleanor, who lived just down the street in her small Ohio town. At 85, after her husband passed, she spent nearly 2 decades living alone. She treasured her quiet evenings where she could sit in her favorite armchair, a cup of tea growing cold beside her, lost in a novel, or simply watching the fireflies dance in her backyard. There was a sacredness to her solitude. After a bad fall, her children, with the best of intentions, moved her into a highly rated assisted living facility. The shock to her system was palpable. The small, sterile room offered none of the comfort of her home. Staff would come in at 6 a.m. to check her vital signs, jolting her from sleep. Her roommate would turn the television on to a game show when all Eleanor craved was the gentle hum of silence. She once told her daughter with a look of profound sadness, "I feel like I've been stripped of the last thing I truly owned, my quiet." It's a universal feeling, isn't it? Have you ever felt your personal space invaded, even in a small way? Share how that moment made you feel in the comments below. It's a powerful reminder of how vital that boundary is to our well-being. Losing one's privacy is not just a source of frustration, it is emotionally and psychologically draining. For many seniors, it can feel like a regression to childhood, a state of being constantly supervised and rarely trusted to manage one's own needs. This persistent sense of being watched, of being managed, systematically chips away at self-confidence and erodes the very foundation of dignity. To me, this is simply not how I envision spending the precious years I have left. At home, privacy is a given. It means I can wake with the sun or sleep in late. It means I can sit in silence for an hour, reflecting on a lifetime of memories, without needing to justify my stillness. It means having the sovereign choice to invite the world in or to gently close the door and keep it at bay. A nursing home, by its very nature and design, cannot offer that same kind of sanctuary. And that is why, for me, protecting the sanctity of my privacy stands as one of the most powerful, non-negotiable reasons I will remain in my own home. Flowing directly from the need for privacy is another, more intimate reason I will never leave: the irreplaceable comfort of my own home. A place saturated with the memories that have shaped the very architecture of my life. A house, after a lifetime of living, ceases to be just walls and a roof. It transforms into a living scrapbook, a silent witness to the entire arc of your existence. Every scuff on the wooden floor holds a story, perhaps of a child's first steps or a clumsy dance in the kitchen. Every well-worn chair carries the imprint of countless hours spent reading, worrying, or talking with a loved one. Every faded photograph on the wall is a portal to a moment that gave life its texture and meaning. To leave all of that behind for a clean, efficient, but ultimately impersonal room in a facility feels like tearing pages out of my own autobiography. There is a profound, almost spiritual sense of peace that comes from waking up in a familiar room, with the morning sunlight filtering through the very same window you've looked out of for decades. It's the deep-seated comfort of knowing exactly how the third step on the staircase creaks, or the particular way the house settles at night. The old oak dining table, with its nicks and water rings, is not just a piece of furniture. It is the silent host of countless Thanksgiving dinners, birthday celebrations, and difficult family conversations. The worn armchair in the corner isn't just a place to sit. It has been my command center for reading, my sanctuary for contemplation, and my haven for afternoon naps. These are not mere objects. They are anchors, tangible symbols of a life fully lived, extensions of my own memory and identity. Nursing homes, even the most luxurious ones, may offer freshly painted walls, coordinated furniture, and organized daily schedules, but they can never replicate the deep emotional resonance of living amidst your own history. The comfort they provide is physical, but the comfort of home is soulful. I recall my dear friend Arthur, a retired carpenter from Pennsylvania. He built the home he lived in with his own 2 hands. He could point to the beams in the ceiling and tell you where he sourced the wood. Each time he stepped into his workshop in the garage, he was surrounded by the ghosts of projects past, the smell of sawdust a constant reminder of his purpose and skill. He once told me, with tears in his eyes, that if he ever had to leave his house, it would feel like leaving behind a part of himself, like asking a painter to abandon his greatest masterpiece. That kind of profound attachment cannot be neatly packed into a cardboard box and transported to a new address. It is rooted in the very soil, the walls, the floors, and the air of a place that has held a lifetime of love and labor. If you're finding this part of our conversation valuable, could you do me a favor and press the like button? It's a small gesture, but it lets me know that these feelings resonate with you and that we are connecting on this important subject. Staying at home also provides a crucial sense of stability at a time in life when change becomes increasingly difficult to process. The constant noise, the unfamiliar routines, and the revolving door of strangers in a nursing home can feel jarring and overwhelming compared to the steady, predictable rhythm of a familiar environment. The home you know and love offers comfort not only to the body, but, just as importantly, to the mind. It can keep stress levels lower and the spirit calmer. That deep sense of security is simply invaluable, especially in the later years when peace of mind becomes as critical to health as any medication. The comfort of home is not about luxury or material convenience. It is about the fundamental human need to belong. A nursing home can provide a bed, meals, and a promise of safety, but it cannot give you the feeling of being truly, deeply, and irrevocably at home. And that is why I choose to stay where my memories live, because they are not just in my mind, they are in every corner of this house, and they are an inseparable part of me. This leads me to a more pragmatic, though equally powerful reason for my decision: a deep-seated distrust of institutional care. This is not a blanket condemnation of every facility or every caregiver. I know there are dedicated, compassionate people working in this field. However, over the course of my long life, I have seen and heard too many stories, in the news, from friends, and through whispers in my community, about seniors losing their dignity, autonomy, and even their health in the very places that were supposed to protect them. The thought of being reduced to a name on a chart, a task on a checklist, a number in a system, is something I simply cannot accept. At this stage of life, respect is not just a nicety, it is the currency of our humanity, and I have no desire to live in an environment where that respect might be rationed or overlooked. The inherent structure of institutional care often prioritizes efficiency over individuality. It has to. When you are caring for dozens or even hundreds of residents, systems and schedules are necessary to maintain order. Meals are served at strict, designated times. Personal routines, like enjoying a late breakfast or a midday bath, are often disrupted to fit the facility's workflow. Staff, however well-intentioned, are frequently stretched thin, responsible for too many residents to provide truly personalized attention. This unfortunate reality means that the small, humanizing details that make a person feel seen and valued can easily get lost in the shuffle. Being rushed through a meal so the next person can be fed, having little to no say in the day's activities, or waiting an uncomfortably long time for assistance with a simple need can leave a senior feeling powerless and invisible. I have no wish to spend my final years feeling like a line item on someone else's to-do list. Consider the story of Harold, an 85-year-old veteran whose daughter shared his experience with me. After a fall, Harold spent 6 months in a nursing home. On the surface, the facility was clean, modern, and the staff seemed professional. But Harold, a man of discipline and routine, quickly grew despondent. He had always started his day the same way, rising early, enjoying a quiet cup of black coffee, and reading the newspaper from front to back. In the nursing home, breakfast was a chaotic affair in a communal dining room, served precisely at 8 a.m. If he wasn't there on time, he simply missed it. The newspaper was often unavailable. This loss of personal freedom, this inability to control the simplest aspects of his own morning, combined with the constant feeling of being managed rather than cared for, left him bitter and restless. He felt his identity, forged over a lifetime of self-discipline, was being systematically erased. There is also the fundamental issue of trust. Families place their loved ones in these facilities with the hope of providing comfort and safety, but many seniors harbor a quiet fear of neglect or mistreatment. This doesn't always mean overt abuse. It can be the slow burn of emotional neglect, being spoken to impatiently, having concerns dismissed, or not being listened to when you try to explain what you need. These seemingly small slights can leave deep and lasting scars. For those of us who have reached a point where we value dignity above almost all else, this potential loss of trust is more than enough to say no. A place where you lay your head at night should feel like a place of belonging and safety, not a place where you constantly have to wonder if your needs will be met with patience, kindness, and genuine respect. This distrust is not about rejecting help. It is about protecting my identity and my humanity. I would rather build a network of support with family, neighbors, and trusted local resources than risk placing myself in a system where my individuality might be seen as an inconvenience. This is a sensitive but crucial topic, and I believe in the power of shared wisdom. If you or a loved one has experience with institutional care, what is one piece of advice you would offer to other families facing this decision? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight could be a beacon for someone navigating these challenging waters. Another powerful reason my home will remain my fortress is my profound belief in the enduring strength of family and community support. Throughout my life, I have witnessed firsthand how the intricate web of relationships with children, grandchildren, neighbors, and friends from church or old social clubs can create a safety net of care that no institution, no matter how well funded, can ever hope to replicate. A fundamental truth of the human condition is that aging does not diminish our need for love, connection, and a sense of belonging. In fact, it amplifies these needs, making them more essential than ever. A nursing home can provide shelter, meals, and medical supervision, but it cannot provide the specific, unconditional warmth that comes from being surrounded by people who have known you for years, who understand your quirks, and who share a history with you. Family support, when it is available, provides seniors with something incredibly precious, a continuing sense of purpose. When your son calls just to check in, when a grandchild stops by brimming with stories from school, or when a niece remembers your favorite type of cookie and drops some off, it serves as a powerful affirmation that you still matter. These small, consistent acts of love reinforce that you are not simply an object of care, but that you are still an active, vital part of the beautiful, messy circle of life that surrounds you. This profound sense of belonging cannot be purchased with monthly fees or provided by a rotating shift of well-meaning strangers. It is organic, rooted in shared love, history, and unwavering loyalty, bonds that have been carefully woven over the course of decades. Take my friend Patricia, for example, who at 84 chose to remain in her home with a little help from her daughter and a few close neighbors. It's not a formal care plan, but a tapestry of mutual support. Patricia's daughter handles the weekly grocery shopping and drives her to doctor's appointments. A neighbor, a young man who grew up on the street, helps with the yard work. In return, Patricia, when she has the energy, bakes her legendary apple pie for them and acts as the neighborhood's unofficial historian, sharing stories that bring everyone together. Though she struggles with arthritis and sometimes feels her age, she often says she feels richer than ever because her life is filled with authentic connections with people who make her feel seen, known, and valued. Her story is a beautiful testament to how family and community can gracefully step in where institutions often fall short. The broader community support network is equally vital. Local churches, senior centers, and town-sponsored programs often provide incredible opportunities for connection, offering everything from communal meals to transportation services and social clubs. These resources not only assist seniors with their practical day-to-day needs, but also play a crucial role in keeping them socially engaged and mentally stimulated. Being an active part of a community means you continue to have a role, a place in the world. Whether it's volunteering to fold newsletters, attending a book club, or simply sharing a lifetime of wisdom with younger generations, it allows for a two-way exchange. Nursing homes, with their necessarily rigid structures, can sometimes inadvertently reduce seniors to being passive recipients of care. In stark contrast, a vibrant family and community network creates constant opportunities to keep giving as well as receiving, which is fundamental to preserving one's dignity and sense of self-worth. For me, leaning on my family and my community is not about being a burden. It is the natural, time-honored way of life. Generations supporting one another is how human society has always thrived. I would far rather place my trust in those organic bonds than hand over my independence to strangers, no matter how professional or well-trained they may be. This idea of a community safety net is just so powerful. If you believe in the strength of community to support us at every stage of life, I'd be so encouraged if you would type the word community in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We have so much more to discuss about building a stronger, more connected life, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. This brings me to my final reason, which may be the one that is most within my own control, and perhaps the one that will surprise you the most. The last reason I will never go into a nursing home is my unshakable personal commitment to self-care and to maintaining a lifestyle that actively promotes my independence. Over the years, I have learned a profound lesson. Small, consistent, daily choices accumulate over time to make an enormous difference, especially as the body grows older and more fragile. Deliberately eating balanced, nourishing meals, staying physically active within my abilities, keeping my mind engaged and challenged, and paying close attention to the signals my body sends me, these are the actions that allow me to continue living safely and comfortably in my own home. While I cannot control every change that comes with the passage of time, I absolutely can control how I respond to it. And it is that fierce determination, that sense of agency over my own well-being that gives me the strength and confidence to forge my own path. Self-care, as I define it, is not merely about health. It is a discipline that is intrinsically linked to dignity. I wake up each morning with a routine that keeps me grounded and centered. It might involve a few gentle stretches to ease the morning stiffness, preparing a simple but wholesome breakfast of oatmeal and fruit, or taking a short, deliberate walk around the block, breathing in the fresh air. These habits may seem ordinary, even mundane, but they create a vital rhythm that sustains both my body and my mind. By taking responsibility for caring for myself in these ways, I actively reduce the chances of becoming heavily reliant on others or being forced into a situation like an institution where those choices would be taken from me. I firmly believe that as long as I continue to honor these daily routines and treat my body with respect, I can maintain a life filled with purpose, autonomy, and independence. Consider James, a gentleman from my old book club who is now 82. Despite dealing with persistent arthritis and some occasional heart troubles, he makes it a point to walk for 20 minutes every single day, rain or shine. He meticulously prepares his own meals, focusing on fresh vegetables and lean protein. He once told me that he views these actions as his shield against losing independence. His unwavering determination has allowed him to stay in the home he and his late wife built, surrounded by the life they created together. James is living proof that while aging inevitably brings challenges, a consistent and proactive approach to self-care can significantly delay the need for outside intervention and profoundly strengthen one's confidence in living alone. Lifestyle choices play an equally powerful role in this equation. It is not enough to simply care for the body. The mind and spirit must also be nurtured. Staying connected to lifelong hobbies, whether it's gardening, working on a puzzle, reading history books, or even engaging in simple household tasks like mending a shirt, keeps the mind active and the spirit engaged. A nursing home, with its pre-planned activities and structured schedules, cannot always provide that same sense of personal fulfillment and accomplishment. When I tend to my own small garden, when I balance my own checkbook, when I continue to do the things I enjoy, I am constantly reminding myself that I am still capable, still in control, and still living with intention. That is a freedom I am simply not ready to trade for the perceived convenience of institutional living. The ultimate truth is that self-care is not just about physical health, it is about protecting your identity. By continuing to live in a way that reflects who I am and what I value, I maintain not only my physical independence, but also my precious sense of self. And that, more than anything else, is why I will live out my days right here, in the home that I have made. What is one small act of self-care you practice daily to maintain your own sense of well-being? I would love for you to share it in the comments, as these small habits can inspire us all to take better care of ourselves. As we bring our conversation to a close today, I want to ask you to pause for a moment and truly think about the 5 reasons I've shared. The sanctity of privacy, the deep comfort of home and memory, the inherent distrust of an impersonal system, the irreplaceable strength of family and community, and the empowering commitment to self-care. Each one of these points reflects more than just a personal preference. They speak to the deeper, universal values that so many seniors hold dear: independence, dignity, identity, and connection. These are not small or trivial matters. They are the very foundations upon a meaningful life is built, and they are precisely why I have decided at 84 that I will never go into a nursing home. This message is not intended as a criticism of those who choose a different path, or for whom institutional care is the best or only option. Every person's journey is unique, and some find genuine peace and safety in nursing homes. But for many of us, the idea of surrendering the life we have so carefully built, the memories that shape us, and the daily choices that keep us whole is simply not an option we are willing to consider. These reasons are not born from fear of aging. They are born from a strength derived from it. They are about protecting one's identity against the tide of institutionalization, and about living with purpose on our own terms until the very end. So, I leave you with this question. What stood out to you the most today? Which of these reasons resonated in your own heart? Or which have you seen reflected in the lives of the people you love? Your reflections matter deeply, because when we share our stories and our truths, we remind each other that none of us are walking this path alone. Aging is not just about the challenges we face. It is about the courageous choices we make to keep our spirits alive and undiminished. Thank you for joining me on this personal journey today. I would be so grateful to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned or felt today, and perhaps how it might influence your own perspective on life. Reading your thoughts and experiences gives me great motivation and encouragement. If you found this video valuable and helpful, please show your support by giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message. Your support helps us continue to create meaningful content that aims to inform and inspire. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.